The Texans chunk deuce to Bill O'Brien, so does that mean they will get their first dub this week? Find out on this episode of Breeze Bench. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this episode of Breeze Bench. In this episode, we'll be talking about Week 5 predictions and recaps. Also, y'all, it's spooky season, and I got my spooky shirt on, Goosebumps throwback. I plan to change my, scenery a little bit later for next week. But we're happy it's spooky season. I hope everybody has a really good October. It's starting to be my favorite time of the year. Then once we get into Christmas, I'm a whole nother person. All right. Now for Thursday Night Football, we actually have a good matchup this week. We have the Bucs at the Bears. Now, Buccaneers did get into a shootout with Justin Herbert and the Chargers last week, but they ultimately came out with a win. We did see a bit of vintage Tom Brady minus the pick six that he threw, but that's neither here nor there. They still got the dub. We are seeing them play Nick Foles and the Bears. And I know last week I was so hyped for Nick Foles and the Bears and they let me down, but I think that they will have a better game this week. I think they will have a better matchup this week, especially going up against the Bucs. I honestly think that this is going to be a game where it's only like 1 to 5 plays that makes the difference. Bucs played really, really solid last week, minus the pick six from Tom Brady. Everybody played really well from them. Like I said, you saw the continuity keep going from week to week, and we saw it last week as well. And that's something that's going to continue during their matchup against the Bears. Now, this Bears defense is probably one of the harder fronts that they're going up against, and I do expect them to get some pressure on Tom Brady and possibly some pick sixes as well. Who knows? Maybe Tom Brady will make better decisions this week. But I'm most interested to see if Nick Foles and that offense can bounce back from their loss last week against the Colts. I know the Colts are like the top-rated defense right now in the league, but I think that they can still get something done. I'm still advocating for Nick Foles. I think that they will do well this week, but I did pick the Bucs to win because that team is a little bit more solid right now. It's showing a little bit more continuity. It's kind of on a roll, so it's going to take a lot for the Bears to come in and disrupt something. It's not impossible, and like I said, this is going to be one of the good matchups this week. That's going to be 1 to 5 plays that are going to set it apart, so it could very easily go the other way towards the Bears, but for right now, I am picking the Bucs. And for our Sunday 1 o'clock games, we have the Bills at the Titans. And honestly, y'all, I don't even know if this game is going to happen. There has been so many personnel and players that have tested positive for COVID for the Titans. I think today, which is Tuesday, it's only been the second day in a row where they haven't had anybody test positive, which is a good thing. And I think that means their facility can either open back up tomorrow or Thursday. But what does that mean? And to be honest, I haven't seen a list of who all did test positive for COVID, if the personnel included any coaches. So that whole thing is going to be interesting to see. We didn't get to see this Titans and Steelers game last week because of all the different protocols. I'm sure you guys know that they technically had their bye week last week. So the game that they have is going to be played in week 7. It took a lot of schedule changing, but that's what they did. So we got to see what the NFL COVID process looked like and how rigorous they're taking this. Obviously they have to, but I didn't think it was going to be... I just didn't really know what to expect, and now I do. But I'm interested to see how many backups are going to play, if they're going to have any time to prep, which they're obviously not going to have enough time to prep. They're playing at home. I wonder if that's going to affect anything. Are they going to have to play at a neutral ground? I don't know. I just feel like so much mentally is going on with the Titans team that I didn't pick them to win, not just because of that, but they're also playing the Bills, and the Bills have been playing phenomenal. Josh Allen is on a roll. That defense is winning that side of the football. It has been unbelievable to see them take over the AFC East. We're really seeing that team come into its own. Definitely a pick to come out of the AFC. If anybody can beat Kansas City, like I said, Kansas City has been on something else, drinking some kind of other water, but the Bills would definitely be a good matchup for them in the future. They are leading their division right now. Bills have just been playing out of their mind, insane. It's been so crazy, but it's also been really nice to see a change up in that division. And it's really nice to see Josh Allen come into his own. It's like Josh Allen doesn't let the mistakes affect him to a certain point. He overcomes them. And I know eventually in a game it's going to catch up to him, but he's always put his team in a really good position. I obviously would like to see him minimize those mistakes, but at this moment he is leading his team in that division. So I'm really, really glad to see that. Like I said, I do pick the Bills to win. The Titans are a hot mess right now with everything with COVID. They had really good momentum and they were doing really, really well. Then all this testing and switching and changing, I don't know what's going on. So that's going to be really interesting to see what happens on Sunday. And the next game that we have is the Jags at the Texans. And oh my gosh, goodbye, Bill O'Brien, chunk deuce. We's tired of you because you make stupid decisions. And that's that. Yeah, I'm glad about that move. I never want to see a person lose their paycheck, but he wasn't doing anything for that team. And obviously that DeAndre Hopkins, David Johnson trade did not pay off. The Texans played well against the Vikings. I'm glad the Vikings did win. They did prove me wrong, but we'll get to that later. Texans did play really well. I just don't know. It's like the little things aren't clicking for them right now. So I'm excited for somebody to come in there and really help them out and push the Texans where they need to be, because they have way, 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 way too much talent to be sitting at 0-4 right now. However, I did pick them to win against the Jags just because I think that them letting go of all that negative energy that had to do with Bill O'Brien and all that, they can just let that go and they can go out and get a win and say, hey, this is what we're doing. Come out and make a stand against the Jags. Jags have been playing pretty well. They did lose last week to the Bengals, but that team is also in a rebuilding year and it's been super iffy for them. Even though the Jaguars are in a pretty obvious rebuilding year, that hasn't stopped them from coming out and trying to win ball games, and Gardner Minshew putting his team in the best place that he can to win them. So Texans are going to really have a good battle on their hands, but I'm putting all that good energy out there towards them. I know that they're going to get their first win. I know that that's the direction change that they needed, and I really hope that happens. I love Deshaun Watson. I think he's a really good quarterback. I think he can take that franchise to the next level. And I'm happy that the Texans made that decision to let go of Bill O'Brien instead of Deshaun, because Deshaun can take them way, way, way past what Bill O'Brien could with another quarterback. So yes, go Texans. Go out there, get your first dub, do the damn thing. Rockets like they like to do, and then get touchdowns. The next game that we have is the Bengals at the Ravens, and I obviously picked the Ravens to win. I didn't think that they were going to struggle as much as they did against the Washington football team. In my opinion, I think they did struggle a little bit. Yes, they still won by quite a bit of margin, but I just feel like they still did struggle a little bit. It took Lamar Jackson a little bit to warm up. They still got the win. However, I hope they continue to just get stronger and get more continuity going between them when they play the Bengals. I know this is going to be a really, 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 really good game and a really good test for Joe Burrow and those Bengals. Like I said, they did get their first win last week against the Jaguars, and it was really nice to see Joe Burrow finally finish the game and get the W, because he has put his team in some really, really good positions to win, but unfortunately didn't walk away with the W to show for that. And last week he did. And also Joe Mixon went off for the first time all season, which really, really helped Joe Burrow and took the pressure off him. So hopefully Joe Mixon can help him do that again this week. I just don't see them obviously winning against the Ravens, especially with them needing to stay competitive with Pittsburgh and stay competitive in the AFC. I cannot talk today. I cannot enunciate. This is a problem. This is a problem I quite frequently have on my channel, and I'm sorry, but I can't help it. The next game that we have is the Panthers at the Falcons, and oh my gosh, the Panthers came out and shocked me again for another week, and I'm not going to sleep on them anymore. I'm obviously picking the Panthers, not just because they're going up against the Falcons, but the Panthers went out and they beat the Cardinals, and that was kind of shocking to me because I thought the Cardinals were going to come out and do much better. Kyler Murray was going to come out and be able to take that team to a W, but the Panthers said no. Just because we don't have Christian McCaffrey again for another week, we are still going to get a win, and we're still going to prove that we're a really, really good football team, and that's what they did. And they're kind of flying under the radar to me without Christian McCaffrey. It's crazy. Like, I guess, and that's kind of on me for underestimating them, because football is technically next man up, and you still got to be able to rock and do what you do whenever a player goes down. And they've done that, and I think they have been the best team at doing that. They are playing through the adversity, and they are getting wins, and I'm so happy that they are. And Teddy Bridgewater actually had a rush touchdown, and that was his first rush touchdown since when he last hurt his knee. So it was really nice to see him out there. It was really nice to see him taking control of his team, getting comfortable, and really leading them to another dub. So I was so happy to see that, even though I did pick the Cardinals to win because I thought they were going to have that bounce back game. They didn't, but it was very refreshing to see Teddy Bridgewater out there doing his thing, especially since he's come back from that horrific injury. Falcons, I just feel like they're there so they don't get fined. I just feel like they're showing up to games so they don't get fined for forfeiting at this point. A little Marshawn Lynch reference there. I'm just here so I don't get fined. And I feel like that's what they're doing. They're just there so they don't get fined. They're obviously not playing like Marshawn Lynch. But I don't know what they're doing. Like, Calvin Ridley could not get going on Monday Night Football. And I obviously know it's because his ankle is a little tweaked. And Julio Jones also, too, his hamstring was messed up. But it just didn't feel like Matt Ryan was comfortable from the beginning. And I know that Green Bay defense is very tough to play. They play within their scheme, and they play it pretty well for the most part, and they just really couldn't get anything going. Like I said, Matt Ryan didn't look comfortable to begin with, so I just don't see them winning against the Panthers. Like, I honestly don't see them winning at all this season, but we're not going to get there. There might be some positive games down the season, some positive plays that show us something, but for now, I don't have the Falcons winning. They're just a hot mess. Like, they're a hot mess. And that's that. And I really wish, Julio Jones a speedy recovery with his hamstring. And I hope Calvin Ridley gets better. And Green Bay was able to beat them without their number one receiver in Devontae Adams. And I know he was a little salty and he was throwing shade because he couldn't play this game. But like I said, last week, I'm happy that he didn't, because I would hate for him to re-aggravate his injury against the Falcons, knowing that they have a bye this week. And he could just have 2 weeks extra to make sure that his injury is fully gone, or he's able to play through it more. Anyways, I kind of went on a tangent there, but yes, I did pick the Panthers to win against the Falcons. Panthers have shown me hard, and Falcons have shown me that it's just like not clicking. So yeah. The next game that we have is the Raiders at the Chiefs, and I'm obviously picking the Chiefs to win because the Chiefs are not losing. Their momentum is on another world. They are playing so phenomenally well. Yes, they played New England, and yes, New England didn't have Cam Newton, but their defense came through. Their defense came out and made a statement, because yes, their offense was struggling, and we don't see that very often from the Chiefs. So we were just sitting there like, okay, their offense is struggling, like, what are we going to do? Like, is the defense going to stand up? Is special teams going to stand up? Like, how can we benefit? How can we help the offense? And how can we come together to fix that? And their defense stepped up. And like I have said before, their defense isn't the best, but their defense steps up when it's needed. And it is so nice to see. And I bet it is so dope for that offense to be like, hey, they're really putting in the work. We're kind of off right now. Let's fix it, and let's put some points on the board. So that's what they did. And they have always found a way to win. It doesn't matter which side of the ball they're on. They have always found a way to win. And it's very, very impressive. And I really can't remember a team coming out and being so impressive, other than obviously Tom Brady and the Patriots and that dynasty. But like, it just feels different. And I'm enjoying watching the Chiefs dominate. I'm not a Chiefs fan myself, but I am very much enjoying what they're doing. I'm very much enjoying them fight through adversity and continue to be on top. So that's why I have them picked to win. The Raiders, got their tail handed to them by the Bills. They didn't play the best. They did okay. Like I said, it just still seems that Derek Carr is uncomfortable. Josh Jacobs is a little nicked up, so it seems like he can't really get going. But that Bills defense that they played last week is really, really tough and is going to make you earn every yard. Raiders have struggled playing other teams that are not the Saints that are over 500. I don't see them beating the Chiefs. I see them having possibly a pretty competitive game, but I know that a lot of injury is hitting them, and I know that that's really not an excuse because injury is hitting everybody right now and the whole COVID situation with the Titans. But the Raiders, like I said, I'm not picking against the Chiefs until they fall off and get that L. I'm not picking against them. So Chiefs. The next game that we have is the Cardinals at the Jets, and I am picking the Cardinals to win again. Don't come for me because they're playing the Jets. Jets have not been able to get it together. Who knows if Sam Darnold is going to play, because I know he has like a rotator cuff sprain or something like that. Something up in here is sprained. Also, by the way, I sounded like a head ass last week because I said that he was fighting with a job for Brett Ripon, but I misread the article. It was Brett Ripon playing for the Broncos against the Jets. So I'm sorry, blonde moment. Forgive me. But yeah, the Jets didn't play well last week. That defense ate them alive. Yeah, they just did not play well. And I know last week I did pick the Cardinals to win against the Panthers. Panthers came out and obviously won against them, but I 99% sure that the Cardinals are going to win against the Jets. And if the Jets come out and win next week, then I will be shocked. I will be so shocked. If they win one game at all this season, I'm going to be shocked. Let's be honest. But I do expect that Cardinals team to get back on track for sure. For sure. And 99% sure this week. I expect Kyler Murray to have a really big game. I expect their defense to do really well. So I will put the Cardinals defense in. To be honest, anytime any team plays the Jets, I would get their defense and I would put them in. But that's just my opinion. So I am picking the Cardinals to win. The next game that we have is the Eagles at the Steelers, and I'm picking the Steelers to win. Eagles did sneak out that win against the Niners last week. I didn't think they would be able to, but they were able to rally and get their dub and take first place in the NFC East. Pain. But I don't see them winning against the Steelers. Steelers defense still top 3. Big Ben is going to do what he does best. I know the Steelers were not expecting to have their bye week last week, but like Mike Tomlin said, we're always ready. That team has been really, really impressive to me, and I think they will continue to be impressive. And they have to continue to keep their foot on the gas, because who's behind them? They have Baltimore right behind them in their division. They also have to compete with the Bills. They also have to compete with the Chiefs possibly. So they're going to have to keep going and keep building that relationship between Ben and those receivers. Also, they're going to have to kind of figure out who works best for them at running, and like, how is the run by committee going to work? Is it going to kind of work how the running backs did last year for San Fran? And if so, how are they going to be able to use them? That's all going to be a really good thing to continue to figure out. Against the Eagles, the Eagles aren't going to give the Steelers a hard time. If they do, I will be very shocked. I think America will be very shocked. So I do have the Steelers winning, and time to pick them back up in fantasy, because I had to put them on my bench last week because all of a sudden, you know, they got scheduled for the bye, whatever. Time to pull them out, bring them out, put them back on my defense, and I'm going to need them. I'm going to put a shout out there to Steelers secondary that I need everybody to pick up Carson Wentz. I need everybody and their mamas to pick up Carson Wentz, okay? I need everybody to. Not just because I'm a Cowboys fan, but because I need the points in fantasy. Because I'm trying to win, okay? I'm trying to win. So, yeah. The next game that we have is the Rams at the Washington football team. Washington didn't really do too much against the Ravens, but they were giving the Ravens a much harder time than they should have. I know that there's some injuries on there. I don't see them pulling it together enough to beat the Rams, but I do still foresee them being a problem. Even though NFC East teams have been trash, for a lack of a better word, they have still given other teams a problem to where it seems like they could take the dub. However, Rams, to me, the Rams last week, I was shocked. I was shocked at how they played against the Giants. A win's a win. I thought they were going to be able to get back on track. Their defense did dominate those Giants. Like I said, I got 12 points from it. Hey, what's up? But their offense kind of struggled. And I was kind of like, why are y'all struggling? But that defense for the Giants, like that front, is a little tough. They were playing the run very, very well. And I was very triggered because I did put Henderson Jr. in and he only got 2 points. But they could not run. Everything they had to do was through the air. And that's the thing with Jared Goff. Jared Goff and the offense, they feed off the play action run. So if you stop the run, all you're going to have to do is make those throws down the field. And once you're just sitting back there, you can try to pressure and pressure and pressure. And that's exactly what they did. So I do give credit to the Giants defense for taking away some of their schematics. But I hope they'll be able to put it back all together this week. And the defense do really well like they did last week. And the offense to kind of get back in line. I know that, like I said, they're missing some key players for their defensive line. So maybe they'll be able to get their schematics going with the run-pass option. So we'll see how that goes. But I do have the Rams winning. However, I can see Washington giving them a hard time like Washington gave the Ravens last week. And for our Sunday 3 p.m. games, we have the Dolphins at the Niners, and this one was a hard one for me to pick, but this one is a hard one for me to pick just because of everything going on and how much Nick Mullins struggled. I was like, why are you struggling against the Eagles? However, George Kittle did come back, and he did do really, really well. I am going to pick the Niners to win. I think that Kyle Shanahan is going to kind of set Nick Mullins up or their third string quarterback up to be in a better position. They might have Jimmy G back as well, so that'll be something to keep their eye on. This is really going to also be a battle of 1 to 5 plays that make the difference and who doesn't make as many mistakes. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they play. The Dolphins did play really, really good last week. They did give Seahawks a pretty hard time. They played him pretty well. They obviously didn't get the win, but that game showed some grit. That game showed some toughness that I didn't expect to see from the Dolphins. So that's why I kind of expect them to go in and play against the Niners pretty hard. So this is also going to be a really good matchup this week. So I'm really excited to see how that's going. I do think the Dolphins can easily come in and take this depending on how prepared Kyle Shanahan has his team if his starters aren't available. So that'll be something to see for Sunday. The next game that we have is the Giants at the Cowboys, and like my note says, who the hell knows is going to win? Because at this point, I don't know who's gonna win. I'm kind of tired of picking Cowboys games.
They do this every year. Why?
Giants defense did show some promise last week against the Rams. However, their offense cannot get it together. So that's going to be something that's a work in progress. However, the Dallas defense has just been letting about everybody and their mamas run up on them, throw on them, kick on them, kiss on them, lay on them, touch on them, everything under the sun. So it's really just going to be whoever has the ball last. I'm going to call it. Whoever has the ball last is going to win the game. I don't know what's going on with Dallas right now. It's really, really sad to see. For me, it's really baffling for me to see what's going on. And to me, I know a win's a win, and they did win against Atlanta, but man, like they 0-4. I know they're technically 1-3, but wow, they were really ready to go 0-4. Like, it's a mess. It's a hot mess. I don't even want to touch anymore. I'm looking for at this point, I'm ride or die. I love my team, but I'm about to give in my resignation because it's too hard. It's too hard. I'm too good for this. No. I can't do this anymore. This is the only toxic relationship I have in my life, and I'm trying to be as positive as I can. So they might just have to go. They might just have to go. Peace, chunk deuce to them, just like the Texans did to Bill O'Brien, because I'm tired. I am sick and I am tired. The next game that we have is the Broncos at the Patriots. And this is going to be a good one because depending on if Cam Newton comes back, I don't think that he will because he tested positive for COVID, obviously, and that's why he wasn't in the Chiefs game, and that's why I got moved to Monday. I would assume he would have to wait 2 weeks before he would be able to play in a game again, but I know they take tests every day, so I just really don't know. I also don't know if their backup will be able to get a win because, oh my gosh, it was horrendous, and it was really hard for me to see him be in the red zone and not be able to even get a field goal, to not be aware of situational football, to at least keep them in the game because there were so many chances and so many mistakes that the Patriots do not make. So many mistakes. And so it was really, really hard for me to watch that game coming from them because it doesn't matter who's playing. Bill always has them prepared, and it just didn't seem like they were prepared. This is a game of also 1 to 5 plays to see how everything is going. Broncos did pull out the dub last week against the Jets. However, the Jets and the Patriots defense are two different animals on their own. So this is just going to come down. And to be honest, I could probably see the Patriots winning because now that I'm thinking about it, because their defense and their special teams will probably have to turn it all the way up and make something happen, and I'm not going to be surprised about that. So I guess I'm making a video time decision and picking the Pats. Next game that we have is the Colts at the Browns, and the Browns played so well against Dallas, so well, and I liked that Kevin Stefanski put the ball in everybody else's hands but Baker Mayfield's. He was making sure that Baker Mayfield put the ball in his game maker's hands, especially whenever they gave the reverse to Odell Beckham on the last play and he said dee 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 dee, and he was gone to the house for a touchdown. That just really shows that he's playing to Baker Mayfield's strength to make sure that Baker Mayfield's getting comfortable and to continue growing in this system. That way they can continue their continuity and be great for the long run. It was so amazing to see those receivers finally come out and do really well against a non-existent Dallas defense. But they went out there and they played really good. Myles Garrett had his hands all over Dak, was wreaking havoc on that offensive line. They just played really well on defense and they played really, really well on offense. And it was a very solid win for them. However, they're playing the Colts, and the Colts do have the best defense in the league right now. So I will be giving them the slight edge, and I will be picking the Colts to win. However, Browns have been playing pretty good themselves, so this is going to be a really, really good matchup to watch. I know I have just said like 2 different games are going to come down to a couple plays, but this game is too. But that Colts defense isn't giving away anything at the moment. So as long as Phillip Rivers doesn't give anything away to the Browns, I think that the Colts will get the dub. And for Sunday Night Football, we have the Vikings at the Seahawks, and I'm picking the Seahawks to win, even though the Minnesota Vikings got their win against the Texans. They played so good. It seemed like they got their play action going again. Dalvin Cook was involved, really took the pressure off Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins was doing well, making good decisions. They were really able to excel to get that first win, and it was really, really nice to see, and I'm really happy for them. However, you're going to place Russ in Seattle, and Russ is not playing around. Russ is on another level. Even though they did struggle against the Dolphins a little bit last week, they still walked away with the dub. He still went out and did what he was supposed to do. Yes, they ran more, but they were still able to get it done, and I expect them to have a really, really good matchup against the Vikings, but I do see the Seahawks going 5-0. They on another level. Russ is on another level. Russ is not of this world. He's playing so well. And then for Monday Night Football, it's going to be a really good matchup. It's going to be the Chargers at the Saints. I do have the Saints winning. They scared me for a little bit. They were about to lose to the Lions, I felt like, but then they went on this streak of 35 unanswered points. Something like that. I'm pretty sure it's 35. And they were able to get the dub out, and Drew Brees was able to get comfortable. They were able to move the ball down the field, and they were able to pull out the dub against the Lions. Lions did play hard, but they didn't play the whole game, it seemed like. The Chargers did play really, really good against the Bucks. However, if they get into a shootout, I don't see the Saints being able to keep up with them. They are going to have to rely on their defense a little bit more this week, and hopefully their defense can step up. I am picking the Saints to win, but this is going to be a good matchup for them to see if they can compete with a younger team and be able to keep up with them. So I still do pick the Saints. I know they still have it. They just have been having a hard time figuring it out, but they're getting there. So that concludes this episode of Bree's Bench. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, become a bench warmer, tell your friends, tell your family to come kick it with us on Bree's Bench. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.